What's up, YouTube? Today we are going to talk about EC duty, or entry controller duty. In my opinion, EC duty is probably one of the worst things in Air Force basic training. But it is something you have to do. You need to do it, at least a couple times in your basic training experience. It teaches you so many things like security, gets you better at your push-ups. But yeah, it sucks, but you gotta do it. Now, when you get into basic training, your MTI will appoint somebody, EC monitor, entry controller monitor. Now, that person makes the schedule for entry controller. So, if that guy's mad at you, or you pissed him off, he's gonna say, I'm gonna make that trainee do entry controller from 11 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the morning. It's 2-hour shifts, and there's two trainees that do it. So yeah, don't piss off the entry controller monitor. And if you are the entry controller monitor, I would say don't be a dick and do that, but really, it's up to you. When I was in basic training, about halfway through it, it used to just be one person every 2 hours to do entry controller duty. But I guess someone in a different squadron, late at night, the entry controller on duty hung himself in the bathroom, or it might have been a female, I don't really remember. But yeah, and they didn't find him until the morning because everyone was asleep. So now there's two people on duty for 2 hours. I don't know if they will change it back or if they already did. I would assume they wouldn't. They'll probably just keep two people in and keep it like that. Entry controller, when you're the entry controller, you really just guard the dorm, pretty much. You make sure all the doors are locked, no one's killed themselves, no one is inside the building that's not supposed to be in there, no one is outside of the building that is not supposed to be out there. It's really just security, that's all it is. When you first, it seems like a lot when you first do entry controller, but it's really simple. I mean, everything you need is right on the door. For the front door to the dorms, there's like a little window that opens up, so someone comes up to the door, knocks on the door, or if it's an MTI, they pound on the door and say, "Fucking let me in," and start screaming. But anyway, they knock on the door, and you just read off of the piece of paper that's below the window. And there's no rules to that whatsoever. Some MTIs actually like you to go like this and say, "Sir or ma'am, may I help you?" And then look up, and then they say whatever, and then you continue reading down the board, and if they say something, then you go to the next thing. It's not hard. MTIs like to scream and yell and just like the door is gonna break down, pretty much is what it seems like. But do not let them in. If they don't go through the proper regulations and show you the proper identification, do not let them in. I mean, if they say they're going to recycle you back to, you're in 7th week and they say they're going to recycle you back to 1st week, if you don't let them in, as much as I know that sucks, they're not going to recycle you. Do your job. Because if you open that door when they say that, and it's illegal, you're not supposed to open the door, you're going to be in a lot more trouble. Like a lot more trouble. They do that just to fluster you, to see if you will open the door when you're not supposed to. So, and they do that a lot. A lot of other MTIs will do that. As long as they have the proper identification and follow the rules that are listed on the board, good. Sometimes if they show you their CAT card, their military identification card, sometimes the MTIs don't even want to do anything like that, so they'll just knock on the door and have their card already, yep, and you just go, you read off of something else, and blah 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 blah. I mean, by the end of your 8 weeks, you're just going to be saying it so fast just to let them in, just to get it over with, really. And they're tired of it too. But yeah, that is it for entry controller. It's not hard it's stressful. It is probably one of the most stressful things in basic training. But, you know, just make your rounds, make sure everything is locked up, cleaned up, no one's dead, no one's, you know, inside, no one's outside. That's really it. I mean, everything for entry controller is like listed in a book, like step by step. You know, you just have to follow the instructions and you'll be okay. And MTIs, they will try to do crazy shit. Like, I know we had a point where MTIs used to, like, our MTI would come up, knock in, do his thing, you know, whatever. But there'd be another MTI kind of, like, hiding by the door. So when you look out the window, you can't really see. You're supposed to look before you open the door, but you can't really see who's out there. So when you open the door to let your MTI in, your MTI walks in, and that MTI jumps right in the door. And you just let someone else in that's not supposed to be inside. And that's a big no-no. So, you know, we were really good at, you know, check in and then open the door and then slamming it shut. And I think one trainee actually almost got another MTI's hand because he was trying to do that. And they'll bitch at you and yell at you for almost slamming their door or slamming the door in their hand, but, you know, don't let them in. The one upside to EC duty, I guess, would have to be the fact that you can write letters, read letters. You're not supposed to, but you can, especially at night. That's the only time I would ever say go ahead and write letters or read letters is during the night. If your MTI is not sleeping in there, you know, it's easy. You know, if you hear the little door open, you know, hide the shit, put it in your pockets. You know, make sure you can easily do that. So just in case they come in the middle of the night, which would probably never happen unless it's around 3 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, you know, right when lights go out or right before you're supposed to wake up. But yeah, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, they're not going to come, so you could probably easily write letters. I know I wrote like a 3-page letter one time. But yeah, EC duty sucks. But you gotta do it, so suck it up and do it. You get little stupid flashlights, you get the whole and walk around. They're a pain in the ass because the battery always dies. It sucks. But you gotta do it, so yeah. But that is it for this video. If you have any questions, leave a comment, write a message, like the Facebook page. Yeah. Comment, subscribe, like it, do whatever, and I will see you guys next time. And I have a quick story that just shows that shit happens in basic training, I guess. We were practicing letting guests in, and there was this special paper that we had in a book that said, you know, if they show a red card, a red little cat card or whatever, you read off the little piece of paper, and, you know, you do your thing and you let him in. Easy peasy, right? Well, Sergeant Smith came up. You probably remember him from another video where I talked about him. He was one of the crazy MTIs. But he came up to the door, showed the red card. I read literally everything off of that page. And I don't really remember what happened, but I remember him screaming and yelling because I wouldn't let him in for some reason because it didn't check, you know, it didn't work, so I wasn't letting him in. And I guess the paper was wrong. What was written down was like old or something and they changed it. But I didn't know that. I was just reading it off the paper, you know. So he actually had a key and let himself in. And my punishment was EC duty every other shift. So every other 2 hours, it was my turn to do EC duty. And this actually happened to another trainee like a couple hours after me, so he had the same punishment. So it would be me, that trainee, you know, back and forth every 2 hours. That went on for like 5-6 days. We got no sleep, maybe like 2.5, 3 hours sleep a night, because, you know, we would do 2 hours and then go to sleep for like 30 minutes and then get woken up for our shift, get dressed, do the shift for 2 hours. You know, it took 20 minutes just to go back to sleep, you know, so like 3 hours of sleep a night. That went on for 5 or 6 days, and eventually the dorm chief went up to our MTI and was like, "Hey, you know, these guys are fucking really tired and they've been doing this for a week. They're seeing shit. You know, is this punishment still, you know, active or whatever?" And he said, "You know, it wasn't my call. You know, whatever that MTI said, listen to. You know, wasn't my rule to enforce." So Sergeant Smith told us that the next time he sees us, we could stop. Now, granted, this was a week later, and we still haven't seen him. So we just said, fuck it. We're not going to do it anymore. And we didn't. Nothing happened. That's the end of the story. That was a pretty shitty story, right? No climactic ending whatsoever. We actually saw him a couple days later after we said, you know, after we stopped it, and he didn't say anything to us. I don't even think he remembered, to be honest. So, you know, sometimes MTIs say things and they don't remember at all, but that was a very boring story.